Hey, welcome to We Talk Indies. I'm Ashley Rose. You can call me Ash, and I'm here with my co-host Jameis, who cannot be confused with Seamus. You can follow us at We Talk Indies on all social media platforms. You can follow me at A Rose CPE. That's on all social media, including any streaming services. Jameis is at. Are you just at the Jameis?
I'm at the Jameis. It's J as in Jameis, A as in Amos, M as in Mus, E as in hello there, mate. U as in us, S as in shh.
Did you just? So, let's see. My lipstick is everywhere. So I'm a little bit of a mess. We'll go ahead and address the the elephant in the room, shall we? We have not been on, as a lot of you know, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that do not know on that as far as Watch TNI. I'm basically am fully almost recovered from the car accident I had a couple of weeks ago. So that's why we have not had a show. So apologies for not having a show and delivering, indie wrestling.
I don't think there's a reason to apologize. You gotta take care of you.
Yeah, but we're back. We're back on a normal schedule. Kind of. We're getting there. So let's go ahead.
There's nothing normal about my schedule right now. Trust me.
Yeah. So we're getting there. We're in the process of everything. And of course, we're both at TWM.NEWS. Thank you, Draven. Thank you for the introduction.
I posted an excellent piece the other day. Go check it out.
Yeah, there you go. Factual stuff reported. Nothing based off of assumptions or guesses. So there's that. So yes. Anyways, we have Wrestling Revolver coming up. By the time the show airs, Wrestling Revolver Thursday in Dayton, Ohio will have aired. And basically,
it's not in Iowa?
No, it's not in Iowa. This one's not in Iowa. It's in the home state of Ohio.
If you listen closely, you can hear Corey Taylor just gently weep.
Slowly, sadly. And I don't know if he's ever been to Revolver. I hope one day he goes, Anyways, basically we'll break down what's going on at Wrestling Revolver. Alex Shelley has declared war on the Pacific Northwest and Midwest territory, even though he is from the Midwest.
So let me get this straight. One thigh is mid, the other thigh is west.
No, shut up, dude. No,
How do you distinguish which one's which?
A compass, the map.
You have a compass for that. All right.
States of America. Anyways, the good old US of A, and also partial Canada. But anyways, back to the point. He has declared war on the Pacific Northwest and Midwest.
So let me get this straight. If Alex Shelley goes to war, is his weapon of choice a machine gun?
Good one, solid one. And I think Draven agrees with you. If y'all hear him, he's quite talkative. He's anyways, yes. So don't ask me which side he's on, because I'm honestly not fully sure what side he's on.
She has no peripheral vision.
Hey, I don't like to pick sides. I don't like war in general. So Thursday it will be.
What is it good for?
I can't make a choice. I think it's kind of. I honestly have the feeling if it goes one way, it goes the other. So my opinion is like, if I was the Pacific Northwest, I wouldn't trust him. He's from the Midwest. Right. But anyways, yeah, it's I'm not exactly fully 100% sure what side he's on. It's under the assumption Pacific Northwest, but he is from the Midwest. It is what it is. Thursday, he will have the Revolver Remix title match with Jay Christ. So
it's a weird match.
It's going to be interesting. So that is on Thursday, but once the show airs, like
It won't be Thursday anymore.
It won't be Thursday anymore. And after that, it's
Mayhem. It only comes once a week, folks.
It'll be Mayhem for All. Macklin is the current Revolver champion, and Ace and Chris Bay are the tag champions, and I believe they're up for a rematch on this show Thursday. So there's that. That's what's going on. Speaking of that, let's go ahead and go into the Indie Hall of Fame during WrestleMania weekend.
Guess who got inducted?
Jimmy Jacobs and Paul London.
My boy, Paul London.
Yeah. We had cheerleader Melissa, Christopher Daniels, Excalibur, Jimmy Jacobs, Michael Modest, and Paul London. So what's your thoughts on it? Did you watch the Hall of Fame?
I did not. I had a weird week. I didn't get to watch nearly as much indie wrestling as I wanted to because I spent most of the later part of the week dealing with some health stuff. Like I spent all of Friday night and morning in the ER. So like my Mania week, between my health stuff and opening day, because I cover baseball too.
That's right, you do.
And it fell on Mania week this year. I did not. This was probably the least amount I watched in real time for Mania week in a long time. But I will say this about the Indie Wrestling Hall of Fame. The choices this year. I don't think Paul London gets enough credit in terms of him being the first. When I think of early independence, obviously I think of guys like Reckless Youth, who got to American Dragon before he got to Ring of Honor. These are guys that signed with developmental systems, but didn't get to TV. Dragon obviously did later, and is probably still the best wrestler in the world today. But the first indie wrestler to go from the indies to mainstream television was Paul London. If you think about Night of the Grudges, Ring of Honor, one of the match that put Ring of Honor on the map more or less in terms of pure wrestling was AJ Styles and Paul London. Within 3 months of that, he was wrestling Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship on national TV. I don't think Paul London ever got the credit for being the first person to break through the independent cycle and into mainstream wrestling. Partially because he was the first one to do it, and it was before CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, Samoa Joe, all of those guys did it. And so I feel like because he was the only one before the crop started, he never really got the credit he deserved for making people take chances on guys like him. So I'm glad he got his flowers, his day in the sun. Furthermore, I also really liked the choice of Excalibur. Obviously, Excalibur is more known now for his commentary, but Excalibur pretty much gave the opportunity for the Kevin Steens, for the Nick and Matt Jackson, Adam Cole. When a guy like Drew Galloway had to reinvent himself, he gave Drew Galloway the platform to reinvent himself. The platform he gave to these guys, I don't think has ever really gotten enough love either. So I'm really glad to see Excalibur there. And then Christopher Daniels went in too, right?
Yeah, Christopher Daniels, cheerleader Melissa, Jimmy Jacobs. Yeah.
All excellent choices. Chris Daniels is a guy I'm very happy to see, because while he was big in the early in stages of what we know as independent wrestling, he was also big. He also started in the territories. He was kind of the last territorial wrestler and the first independent wrestler too. And I feel like that's an interesting tidbit of his career that's never really gotten acknowledged, despite his success and impact. AEW, Ring of Honor. Of course, Ring of Honor is an indie, or was an indie until about a year ago. But it was a bigger indie. It was a super indie. It was that and PWG were the first real super indies. So I'm going to count those in with the other two. So yeah, I really like the class. I'm definitely going to check out the speeches when I get a chance to. I thought those four, London, Excalibur, Daniels. I didn't go into anybody else. Those three specifically really caught my eye.
I watched it because I love Jimmy Jacobs, so like I was really excited for Jimmy. He had a good solid speech. The only thing I really the ceremony was actually very, very nice, very classy. I will give I believe it's ran by GCW.
It is ran by GCW, specifically Lauderdale.
Lauderdale. Yeah, so I will give them, it was very classy. The main issue I had was the audio was very low in the beginning.
Sounds about GCW.
Yeah, the audio was really low. Other than that, it was very nice. It was executed very, very well. It was the first time I actually watched the Indie Hall of Fame. Their first year, I believe, was last year, and they had like Jerry Lynn, Homicide. Right. Terry was also inducted.
Jerry Lynn, such a great choice for that too. I'm glad he was in the first
I'm glad Jerry Lynn was in the first class. I really am.
I think he's one of the most underappreciated workers of all time. And his impact on modern professional wrestling, especially working with all of the major guys to have come out of the independents hands-on, is undervalued in terms of perception.
Yeah, I wrote an article about Jerry for when I worked at Daily DDT back in the day. Back in the day was like years ago.
Way back in the day.
Way back in the day. Yeah, when I worked at Daily DDT. All excellent choices. You can't go wrong with Christopher Daniels, or as well. We always rave about Paul London as well on here.
Excuse me, I always rave about Paul London.
That's a good point, but the point is we are both on the show, therefore we rave about Paul.
That's why we're talking indies.
Also,
nobody pays to hear Jameis talk indies. That'd be cool though.
We're doing okay. We're doing good. We're doing okay, being that we missed a couple shows.
It's my hair. That's why we're doing okay.
Oh. Prestige Wrestling also announced that they will be in Southern California on June 18th at the Globe Theater. And you can get your tickets at prestigewrestling.net. They will be available Friday. So when this show airs, they will be available at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. The show is Black Sunshine. And they have announced, let's see. Right now, they've only announced Motor City Machine Guns. And of course, Roslyn 5 as well. Or Roslyn 5. Roslyn 5.
Motor City Machine Guns. Something tells me you're a fan.
Yeah. Yeah, it's my favorite tag team.
So another show upcoming this week, 2 days from the time of recording, really 1 day. So that would be Friday because it's the 7th. Tokyo Joshi Pro's Miyu Yamashita is challenging Masha Slamovich for the West Coast Pro Women's Championship.
I was actually just going to bring up West Coast Pro too. We'll go right. Your turn.
And the match that really has me interested, though, is Aja Kong, still in the States from Working Mania Week. She's taking on Vert Vixen. Aja Kong, one of the greatest wrestlers in Joshi history, one of the best super heavyweights of all time, regardless of gender. Legendary AJW wrestler. Nice to see her get her flowers. That should be a fun match. Also on the card, the West Coast Wrecking Crew, Royce Isaacs and Jarrell Nelson will take on the Velocities, Jude London and Paris De Silva. Alpha Zoe takes on Leo Rush. Mike Bailey versus Michael Oku. That one promises to be really good. Jordan Oliver versus Brian Keith. There's a lot to like. Of course, Tyus Alexander teams with your favorite tag team, not named the Motor City Machine Guns. Kevin Blackwood and Allen Angels to take on Starboy Charlie, Jacob Fatu, and Vinny Massaro.
That is true. Let's see. So Home of the Killers is in 2 days from now. So on the 7th. And it is sold out. So
that's what we like to see.
And the official matchmaker is someone that's not you know, not unknown, someone that's very known, our very own Chris Hero.
Oh, Chris Hero. I love Chris Hero. So one time I met during while he was in NXT, I got a chance to sit with him and talk to him. I was like, "Hey, Chris, you're my hero," and he gave out the biggest face palm I've ever seen.
That's funny. That's
Funny
good.
tidbit that makes me laugh when I randomly think of it. I knew it was
So
stupid, and that was the point.
That was so bad.
I literally went on Facebook Live and just for the to do the joke,
Oh my
just to
god.
piss off another one of my friends who was a big Cassius Ohno fan.
Cassius Ohno.
He was in NXT at the time, so that's an important detail.
Yeah, no, I remember that time. You and I will discuss it off air about how I remember that time.
Ooh, that's interesting. But no, Chris Hero, a true king of wrestling. Big Chris Hero fan.
So yeah, like that's what we have going on. Those are like the major points. Of Revolver has been announced that they will be coming to Texas in July, and I will be there. And maybe I'll let one of you sit next to me.
It's me. She's gonna let me sit next to her.
I think you'll be in the UK by then, right?
What day?
July.
July. It depends on what time in July.
Okay. Well, either way, we'll talk about that later.
Speaking of the UK,
yeah, continue.
One interesting thing is that the Effie's Big Gay Brunch is coming to the UK in May. And that's interesting because, as far as I know, it's only been a Mania week affair so far.
Yeah, that has been announced. I believe it will be
May 12th, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's with the part of the GCW deal with TNT Extreme that started last year. That's been a success for both products so far. And the other show in the UK coming up is Pro Wrestling Eve on Friday. That's no Moonsault. Laura DiMatteo and Rain Leverkusen defend the Eve Tag Team Championships against Sky Smithson and Rhea O'Reilly. The Uprising. Millie McKenzie versus Emerson Jane. Rhea versus Sarah Leone. That should be a fun taping. That will air on YouTube for free if anybody wants to support some really good female British wrestling.
Yeah, I can't talk right. Support Brit Wrestling. They do. There's some incredible talent out there.
The name I just said, Laura DiMatteo, the closest thing to a female Bryan Danielson I've ever seen, bell to bell. And that's a big compliment coming from me because he's one of my top 10 favorite wrestlers of all time. She's exceptional. Do yourself a favor if you haven't and check her workout.
Like I said, Brit Rust has always been amazing, as far as especially on the independent spectrum because of how much there is as a United Kingdom.
Right. I believe Peter Tahani just signed full-time with WXW, which means they're giving contracts big enough for the talents to move out and make it their full-time job. And that's another thing we like to see. So the expansion of some of these promotions, even though WXW is in Germany and not, I don't believe that's the UK. It's Europe, but it's not the UK. If I'm not mistaken.
It's Europe.
I don't know.
No, it's okay.
But this European scene is starting to really make money, take off, and it's recovering rather well from the speaking out movement a couple of years ago. And that's what we like to see. Support as much wrestling as you can.
Do we have anything going on in Australia?
I've not looked. I'm gonna be real with you.
I have not looked, but I know you had some other stuff to.
But Buddy Matthews is the MCW champion right now.
Yeah, that is true. Good for Buddy.
I love Buddy Matthews.
Fantastic wrestler.
Fantastic wrestler, fantastic human being.
Yep, I've always supported Buddy for years. I was very happy when he became the first Australian cruiserweight. I was very proud of him for that.
I've been on the Buddy Matthews hype train since Blake and Murphy.
Yeah, it's a good
So
time.
OG right here.
Yeah. Right now, MCW is they have, let's see, they have 3 events, 2 days, 1 silver celebration, which is the 25th anniversary. Go to MCW.
Oh, good for them.
Yeah, go to mcwprowrestling.com and let's see.
Mick Moretti's killing it over there too.
See, I just wanted to look and see what they had going on over there. And this is this is MCW in the States, by the way.
Oh.
Not Melbourne, but we're gonna get to Melbourne.
Mick Moretti's not killing it at that MCW.
I just wanted to point that out.
MCW.
Anyways,
sorry.
Melbourne.
Pardon my faux pas.
It's the initials get mixed up sometimes. Melbourne City Wrestling is where Buddy Matthews is the current champion. They will have an event live on Fight on the 8th, and that is Blood in the Water. So that should be a killer right there. Let's see. Events, tickets, You can also go to mcitywrestling.com.au. But right now that is currently their event coming up.
I can tell you that's you're talking about Melbourne because the AU. But yeah, so there is that. So they do have an event coming up this weekend on Fight. Hell yeah.
So go check it out. Did you get a chance to see anything else? Because I mean, I was all over the place.
I have a lot to talk about from Mania week.
Go for it. We got time.
I want to start with the good.
Oh God, there's bad.
2 matches I'm going to start with. Billy Starks, Rika Tatsumi from Tokyo Joshi Pro. One of the best matches of the year so far. Be sure to check that out, as well as Yuki and Takeshita from DDT. Both of those absolutely worthy of checking out. 2 of the best matches so far this year. There was a really good LA Times article heading into the week by Nadine Smith, specifically on Joshi Wrestling and DDT, because of the variety it brings. This was ahead of the week, so before any of the shows happened. This was ahead of the week. Really good article on what they've been doing over there, why it's important for them to be coming to the States, the variety they're adding to wrestling, and the historical context of guys like Kota Ibushi coming from DDT in the first place. So I just wanted to give a shout out to that article. Go support that. Go read that. It's really well written, really well laid out. I loved it. As for the bad, and I don't know if you're going to agree with me on this, and maybe this is something I shouldn't say.
Depends what does it have to do with?
Mania week in the Indies. I remember
that doesn't limit it down.
I know. I'm gonna get to it.
Okay.
The last when Mania week was in Tampa, everybody was talking about Nick Gage and Jon Moxley, or Nick Gage and Ricky Page. As awesome as that Mania was, I was there. I love that Mania. Other than Banks Belair, people were talking about the independents more than that show. And what the independents were doing. They were talking about Jordan Oliver heading out of the weekend. That was, I believe he won the Acid Cup that year. And they were talking about how he's the
tag champion too this weekend.
Maybe this weekend, not that year.
Not that year, but I'm saying this weekend now that I think about it. Anyways, continue.
So there was a lot to talk about, a lot of great stuff. A lot of people were talking about Calvin Takeman coming out of that weekend. And I don't think this is the independents' fault, what I'm about to say.
Okay.
Because with WWE, every time WWE would just go raid the indies, there was enough talent to replenish. But with AEW doing the same thing now in the last couple of years, there's not enough talent to live up to the spots. That's not to say there's not a lot of really good talents. There's a lot of talents I love. Titus Alexander's doing an exceptional job. Kylon King, Dustin Waller, all of those guys we talk about on the show a lot, doing an exceptional job. There's a lot of great talent out there. But my best match of this past weekend was from the weekly IWTV show in Jersey, or for Mania week this year.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't anything out of LA. The match that stuck in my head the most was Lufisto and Mickey Knuckles. Great match, two great talents. This is not a knock on them. I'm a fan of both. I'm not trying to make condescendingly knock on them. When the last couple of years, even last year, the match I was talking about most was the Briscoes and FTR, which wasn't an indie anymore. So for years, the talk of the town would be the independents. I didn't feel that this year. And I feel like it was lacking a lot. And I don't know what the root cause is. I think there's a lot of variables at play. There was a lot of really good stuff too. Like I really like Sandra Moon versus what's Persia Parada's name? What's Persia Parada's name? Steph DeLander. I thought that was awesome. I want Steph DeLander in more major indies. I think she's a wonderful talent. That was from Effie's Big A bunch. There's a lot of stuff to like. There just wasn't anything that garnered my attention and made me sit and go, "Oh, I have to watch this," or "Oh, this is what WrestleMania week is about." And I feel like I don't know if it's because of the talent pool being thinner than the last couple of years with the two major companies. Obviously, when the Tampa WrestleMania week happened, that was a big coming out party for Daniel Garcia, Wheeler Yuta, a lot of guys that aren't available on the independents anymore. But it was a lot less interesting this year. And that may be because I didn't watch as much because of everything else I had going on. That may be because the talent pool is thinner. That could be a lot of variables at play, but I just wasn't feeling it.
Yeah. I mean that, I have my reasons for not watching. Not anything not anything like, against any of the independents. If not, I would not have this show. If I did not care about indie wrestling.
We talk independence. That's the whole point.
That's the whole point. But because of my accident, I was asleep on and off. It was very hard for people to get a hold of me during that time too. The only thing I watched the Hall of Fame, and I watched like things here or there, and I caught up. I believe we had that emo show from West Coast Pro. I saw parts of that too.
Oh, Pandemonium was a good show too. Didn't want to forget about it.
In GCW, yes, the tag titles did switch over. Jordan Oliver and Nick Wayne, the East West Express, won. They defeated Motor City Machine Guns on the 31st at Joey Janela Spring Break 7.
Like that show this year felt lackluster. And Spring Break's usually the show everybody looks forward to every year. Like that was one of the big. That was pretty much the show also
going on too.
Spring Break was the show that pretty much put GCW on the map.
Bloodsport went on.
Vikingo and Mike Bailey had a really good match.
Yes, they did.
Ibushi and Janela, but that was pretty much about it.
For me, shout out to Speedball. He I think he had over 10 matches the WrestleMania weekend and signings.
I'm so happy he's back in the States, man. He's so good.
Amazing human being. So nice, so kind. One of the most genuine people I've had the pleasure of interviewing. Let's see. What's happened? They also have GCW has announced their Las Vegas update as well. Friday, May 26th. They will be in Vegas at the Silver Nugget. And also it will be live on Fight, of course. Orlando update as well. Masha Slamovich versus Rec. And that will be on April 22nd. See where that's at. That's Orlando. God damn it. Let's see. The GCW has a lot of events that are being updated and announced, so you can give them a follow.
That Orlando show looks good.
It does. It does. AAW Wrestling. AAW Wrestling. There we go. Let's see. I believe AAW does have a show as well.
AAW. Let's see. Black Label Pro has a show.
Oh, really? Announce that. What do they got
on Friday? David Heath Gangrel is wrestling for the BLP Midwest Championship against Joshua Bishop. That's fascinating. Meanwhile, the BLP Heavyweight Championship, held by Billy Starks, is being defended against Sue Young. The Bang Bros versus Twist and Flip for the Tag Championships. Myron Reed is on the show. Madman Fulton's on the show. Shaza McKenzie's on the show. And this match will interest you, Ash. Jake something. Do you want to guess his opponent?
Who's his opponent?
Filthy Tom.
Oh. I do.
Looks like you'll be watching Black Label Pro.
I will. I love Black Label Pro. I absolutely love them. One of, by far, when I got back into wrestling media, one of the best indie promotions I ever had the pleasure of interacting with. Have not been to a Black Label Pro show yet, but I've been wanting to go. So I will catch them eventually this year. AAW just signed the women's championship match with Masha Slamovich, and that will be...
She's everywhere right now.
Oh, yeah. Masha's killing it, dude. Fucking killing it. Good for her. That will be Ring of Fire on April 14th. And that you can watch that actually on High Spots. AAW is on High Spots right now on their streaming service.
Interesting. High Spots has a lot of really good stuff.
They've got a lot of good things going on now. They're picking up, definitely. I'm very happy for them.
This is interesting. DPW is doing a crossover event in Tokyo.
Interesting. What's
DPW is going fast. That's fantastic for them. Great promotion. Of course, Deadlock is a fascinating figure. The only match announced for that, and that will be on April 25th, is Ring Comp. I can't think of their current name. Dom Guarini and Kevin Q. Violence is Forever. There we go. Is taking on Chris Brooks and Masahiro Takanashi. It's the only match announced so far. And it will be for the DPW Tag Team Championships.
Let's see. Events. Go to aawpro.com because AAW does have their upcoming events announced for May, June, and July on there. And
then also overseas in progress for Chapter 151, former Progress World Champion Carl Noir. He's the one that lost to Jay Lethal. Oh, not Jay Lethal. What am I even thinking? Jonathan Gresham. My brain is fried. I'm sorry. He's the one who lost to Jonathan Gresham in the ROH World Title match. For title. I was thinking ROH World Champions, and just my brain went nowhere. And then he will be challenging for the World Championship again against Spike Trevette. And Spike Trevette's killing it right now. Carl Noir is a great character. That should be a fun not clash of styles in the ring, but juxtaposition with the characters.
Let's see. Let me take a look. See what else we got going on. Damn. Wait. I had everything all situated here, but didn't happen. Dun, 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 dun. I was gonna see what was going on Fight Plus as well. But
do we want to talk about the MOW Battle Riot coming up? Because the list of names for the 40-man Battle Riot announced is rather interesting.
Go ahead. We got time.
So far, Calvin Tankman, who I think should win it. He's been doing great work in MOW. He's one of my favorites in wrestling right now. Great talent. Very versatile talent. One called Manders. Alex Kane. Ooh, we don't talk about Alex Kane enough on here either. Oh,
we haven't had time.
His suplexes, they make my neck hurt. And that's what I like in my wrestling. So, want to see more of Alex Kane. Great guy, too. If you've ever had the chance to interact with him, he's the most down-to-earth person. I produced an interview with him last year for MOW. Raven, Johnny Nitro, Lindsay Dorado, Mance Warner, Different Boy Jimmy Lloyd, Tracy Williams, Jacob Fatu, Juicy Finale, Ray Jazz, Mr. Thomas, Lance Anawai, Willie Mack, Sam Adonis, Matt Justice, and Ricky Page are the names announced for that. One called Manders, too. I don't think I got him. That's a very fascinating list of names.
OVW will be available as well tomorrow. So let's see. Haven't had time to talk about OVW, but OVW will be available tomorrow. But that's all I got right now. At least, you know, what I want to talk about and announce.
Apparently, Tony Deppen and Tracy Williams are wrestling tomorrow at MOW.
Oh, well, cool.
And the first round of the Opera Cup, which also features Calvin Tankman against Harry Smith. That show looks good. Lindsay Dorado.
The Opera Cup's usually pretty good.
Leo Rush is challenging Lindsay Dorado for the middleweight championship. Jacob Fatu and John Hennigan. War Chamber match. Alex Hammerstone and Matt Justice, One Called Manders, and Mance Warner versus The Calling, which is Akira, Ricky Page, Raven, and a mystery partner. Delmi Exo and Taya Valkyrie. Real one, I believe that's Enzo Amore, correct?
Yeah, he is no longer there from my understanding.
Well, he's still on the cage match lineup.
Well,
we'll see what they do.
We'll see what they do. Card subject to change, you know.
The FBI on Little Cuto's on the show. Good for Nenzio. He's like 50 now, but good for Nenzio. That card is very interesting. I may have to watch that. I don't usually watch them on W.
The Opera Cup's pretty good. I will say that. Then again, I'm a total mark for like cup tournaments in general.
I'm well aware. Cup tournaments are to you what bridges are to Tiff.
But I'm dumps. Other than that, how's your week been? We've already talked upcoming events, current events. I think we summarized. I'll be honest with you. I felt maybe
it's been a hell of a year in 1 week.
There you go. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if it's because I was out, recovering, and I'm still a little bit in recovery, but I can do more now. Can come back to work. So there's that. I didn't feel this WrestleMania year. I didn't feel it was very eventful.
I didn't on any front.
But I don't know if that's
Night 2 of Mania left me deflated.
like, I don't know if like that's just me personally, like for being ill, or if like I just didn't. I mean, the indie events were very well stacked. A lot of good matches came out. As far as if we're talking about indie wrestling specifically, but
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
There were a lot of good matches, just nothing that people seem to want to be talking about.
Yeah, I think, with a lot of like certain occurrences that occurred during Mania weekend, I think it kind of that's what everyone's priority was, and understandable.
Yeah, the sale is a variable I didn't factor into my rant. Like I said, there's a lot of variables to factor in.
Yeah, but a lot of solid shows, a lot of solid matches. I also feel like maybe I felt like there was more events to attempt to keep up with.
Right. Which I think that's a good thing. It's a bad thing in terms of nobody's going to be talking about the same thing, but it's a good thing in people have more variety in what they can choose to support, what they can choose to watch. There's more opportunity for the workers to make money.
Well, yeah, of course,
but things of that nature, and that's always a good thing.
It is always a good thing, but I'm just saying that factors into no one really talking about any specifics, because usually I'll call it what it is. Usually Mania weekend, we're usually always talking about the collective.
Right. Which makes sense.
But there was just so many events running too, and the collective going on. So
one of my favorite indie shows I've ever been to was Mania Week in 2021. And I did one show. I did a bunch of shows that weekend. I did 2 that weren't the collective. And there was my favorite spot I've ever seen on an indie show was a very good professional wrestler. We haven't really discussed him either, but his name is very apt. He is a very good professional wrestler. I believe he goes by just Avery Good now, but back
I was all, you mean Avery Good?
Back in 2021,
he was a very good professional wrestler.
Right. That was his actual name.
Yeah, the joke behind that is kind of like what the fuck's that show? God damn it, what the fuck is that show, Jameis? It had Amy Poehler in it. Had Amy Poehler in it. Let me go to her fucking
Are you thinking of SNL?
No, not SNL. Let me go to her IMDb, dude. Let me go to her IMDb. Amy Poehler. But there's the joke about it is it has to do with the show.
Welcome to Sweden.
Parks and Recreation. And Recreation.
No wonder I didn't get it. I don't like that show.
Parks and Recreation. That's where the joke. I think that's what I heard. I don't know how true it is, but it has to do with, I believe, Parks and Recreation.
So his ring name was a very good professional wrestler at the time, and he's working a 6-man tag. And his entrance, was literally that YouTube video. You know how in the very early days of YouTube, before it took off, you had like 3 videos, and it was like Charlie the Unicorn, and then and then you get the music videos, and it'd be like the chop suey, but it's only the table, weird stuff like that. So he chose the video of Dave Grohl saying the best for like 4 hours, like one of those videos.
I'm the best. That one.
Yes, and that was the ring music. And he would just stand on the apron and taunt every time. Dave Grohl would say it, and he spent like 10 minutes stopping, and then while the crowd would boo, he'd start it back up.
He's the best of the best.
It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Oh my God. A very good professional wrestler. But yes, I believe that's where the name came from. I don't know. Maybe we should tweet him and ask him. I believe it's from Parks and Rec. I think it's from Parks and Rec. I think it is. I want to say it is. So you don't like Parks and Rec?
No. I've heard that it's one of those shows that the first season is so different from the rest of the show, but I couldn't get through the first season. When it comes to workplace sitcoms during that time period, my favorite was Superstore. And then with America Ferrera.
Yeah, I know what Superstore is. I think I saw like maybe the first 2 episodes.
Ben Feldman's fantastic. That entire cast is fantastic. And then I really liked Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine is really good. I like it. That show is pretty fucking funny. I know some people don't care for it, but I disagree.
Stephanie Beatrice makes that show.
I disagree with those people.
Yeah, that and Superstore with Ben Feldman, Lauren Ash, Mark McKinney, Colton Dunn. Those were the 2 workplace sitcoms during that time period of workplace sitcoms that I really enjoyed. Parks and Rec, I feel like tried way too hard, and because of that, a lot of it didn't land, and it didn't.
You mean it didn't land with you?
With me, it should say,
because
it was a very popular show, so it did land with a lot of people.
It was around for 7 seasons.
So were a lot of shows that were good and didn't land with people. I mean, I've seen some hated shows keep getting picked back up, but I do understand your point. I feel like Parks and Rec never really knew what it wanted to be, whereas other workplace sitcoms like the 2 I mentioned, like The Office, etc., knew what they wanted to be, even if they didn't, even if that what it wanted to be didn't connect with me.
Completely. Let's talk about sitcoms, but completely not workplace. My favorite one was Community.
Okay, my favorite sitcoms. Do you have a pen and paper? Because I got a bunch.
Yeah, we've talked about that. I'm just saying, one of my favorite ones was Community.
Of recent sitcoms, you know which one I really liked that didn't seem to take off?
What?
Man with a Plan with Matt LeBlanc. I thought it was hilarious. It was a CBS sitcom for like 3 seasons. It's on Paramount. And then my of recent non-workplace sitcoms, bear in mind, my favorite sitcoms are like Seinfeld, Friends, King of Queens, Everybody Loves Raymond, Three's Company, Married with Children.
He's saying he has high standards, y'all.
All of them are old, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Of recent sitcoms, I really liked Mom with...
I liked Mom as well.
Ferris, I can't think of her first name.
Yeah, Anna Faris.
Anna Faris. My favorite thing about that is 2 of my most underrated actors that I like in almost everything they're in is William Fichtner. I love William Fichtner. The Alexander Mahone character in season 2 of Prison Break is the best single season of a character I've ever seen, and it's all because of William Fichtner's portrayal. And I really like Allison Janney. Whoever decided to put them together in a sitcom as a divorced couple deserved a lot more money than I bet they got.
But yes, I did like Mom. I really enjoyed it. Just because I thought we
talk everything on this show.
Yeah, not just
We're a variety.
We talk everything, but we always start off with indies, and that's the important thing. You know what show never quite hit with me? Now that I'm looking at the list of sitcoms that are the top sitcoms by IMDb, Party Down. Party Down never hit with me.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, never hit with me. Saw it a couple times. I had an ex that actually liked the show. I didn't care for it.
There's for the most part, even sitcoms I don't like, I can find parts of it I like. There's only one show I've never been able to do that with. Big Bang Theory. I hate that show.
Yeah, I think you're one of the only people that hates Big Bang Theory, but you've expressed to me
Actually,
why.
most people I know actually hate it. Weirdly enough.
You've expressed to me why.
And there's only one part of that show, the entire series, that's at all remotely redeeming. And I want you to tell me why.
Because
Who played Kaylee Coco's mom on that show?
I don't know.
Katie Seagal.
Oh, okay.
Do you know why that's important to me?
Because you're a Married with Children fan?
No. Although Katie Seagal is fantastic in that. Katie Seagal is fantastic in everything she's in. I think she's the greatest.
Are you a Sons of Anarchy fan? And I didn't know?
I am. I'm also a Futurama fan. Neither of those have anything to do with this.
That's right. She was the voice of
Leela.
Yeah.
Neither of those have anything to do with this. Because I also mentioned Three's Company. And the star of that show was John Ritter.
Yeah.
The show John Ritter was doing when he died, he was on the show. He was married to Katie Seagal, and they had a daughter played by Kaylee Coco. And it's one of my most underrated sitcoms of all time.
I think
it's 8 Simple Rules.
Yeah, I was actually going to say it was 8 Simple Rules. But
so the fact that they were like, okay, we need a mod for Kaylee Coco's character. So they went and got Katie Seagal. You know what? I'll give them credit for that.
But yeah,
I like Kaylee Coco. I just don't like that show. And she's not the issue with that show, just so we're clear.
Yeah, that's not what he doesn't like about it. You just genuinely just don't think it's funny. You don't find it comical at all.
Dude, there's a lot of reasons. We don't have time. That's for an episode of me and Trent on a sitcom podcast, which has been there's been talks of it.
Whispers and talks.
Talks like this.
Whispers and talks. But yeah, I was looking at the list of like top sitcoms, and I was like, that's one that just never hit with me.
I'm gonna Google top sitcoms. Hold on.
Yeah, go for it. That's what I did because I was curious. The number one sitcom is Friends.
Not surprising. The number one statistical money-making sitcom of all time is Seinfeld, and number 2 is Friends. So one of those two was always going to be the top. Google. I Googled top sitcoms, and it said popular sitcoms, top picks for you, Golden Globe nominated sitcoms, 1990 sitcoms. If you like The King of Queens, all popped up in my Google search, which I do like The King of Queens. Big Lee Remini fan. And as I said earlier, Seinfeld's my favorite show of all time. I prefer Jerry Stiller's character in King of Queens than I do in Seinfeld. As great as Frank Costanza is. The one that popped up is Curb Your Enthusiasm. One of the better post-2000 sitcoms for sure.
That 70s Show.
That 70s Show is probably the best post-2000 sitcom. Or no, that was 90s, but it bled well into the 2000s. I think it went off air in 06. Similar to how Everybody Loves Raymond kind of bleeds into both.
Did The Office ever hit with you? I never asked you.
The Office did hit with me, except for the Will Ferrell season.
Do you like Will Ferrell?
He's the most. I do, but he's the most hit or miss person for me because I hate Elf. I think it's the most unfunny movie I've ever seen.
It's not funny. It just has.
I think it's the most overrated trash Christmas movie out there. If you want a funny Christmas movie, watch Bill Murray's Scrooged.
Okay, I thought you were going to mention the other one that we watched.
But the and then there's a couple movies of Will Ferrell where I can't stand. But Step Brothers is one of my favorite movies. I think Talladega Nights is hilarious. I think Old School is hilarious. I think Anchorman's hilarious. I honestly think the Daddy's Home movies are hilarious. So Will Ferrell is pretty hit or miss. Will Ferrell is a terrible actor. He cannot act to save his life. But he's funny. And that's what matters. And I think the joke is that he can't act. And I think it works. For the most part.
hit or miss, kind of like when we talk about In This Moment.
The band?
Yes.
They're always hit for me.
We're talking about when you saw them live.
Oh, yeah. When I saw them live.
We're not talking about music and album wise. Albums,
their catalog
are always
the
albums are always fucking good, but live.
The first time I saw In This Moment, they were horrible. The second time I saw them, they were one of the best shows I've ever seen. So the verdict's jury's still out on that verdict.
Yeah.
I'll see them again and make my opinion off of that. But Maria Brink rules.
Yeah, no, the albums are always a hit. They're always banger albums.
But let's see. Good to go back to top sitcoms. I thought Modern Family was really good. I think it went on a little too long. But I thought it was good. How I Met Your Mother was good. I actually don't hate the ending like everybody else does. I don't know what people were expecting with the ending for a show that literally the premise is telling the story of how he met the mother. We'll talk about an overhated finale. How did you not see that coming?
I mean, I thought it was kind of obvious.
People
did weird. Scrubs ever hit with you?
Depends on the episode.
I mean, the whole series.
Not as a whole series, no. But there are episodes where I'll sit and I find it hilarious. So they're the episodes are hit or miss.
Hit or miss. And there's people I knew people that loved Scrubs, and I'm like, okay.
I don't think it's nearly as good as made out to be, to answer your question. There's a lot of the shows from the 2000s era that is pretty much nostalgia bait that aren't as good as made out to be. Like, I don't get the Grey's Anatomy hype. I think Katherine Heigl is much better in Suits. And she's only there for the last 2 seasons.
So now we're on medical.
Or law shows, if you want to go to the last show I said.
Okay. Well, let's talk about one that's incredibly popular. How about House?
It's not bad. It's not something I go out of my way to watch.
It's, you know what it is? It's that show you watch that's on all the time. And if there's nothing to watch, you just end up leaving your TV on it.
Right. That makes sense. There's a lot of shows like that. There's a lot of sitcoms like that.
But yes, let's talk about a super popular one. Same. I feel the same way with 2.5 Men.
Oh, I love that stupid, that very stupid men song.
You like the jingle?
It's such a stupid jingle that I can't help but laugh every time I hear it.
Men. Castle was also a show that didn't hit with me.
Nah.
Same thing with Chuck. Didn't hit with me.
Let's see. What doesn't hit for me? I like Frasier better than I like Cheers.
I feel the same way too. I do not like Cheers.
I actually don't. I don't dislike Cheers.
I don't
think it ages well. I don't think it ages well. I feel I would like it more if I grew up in the 80s and had nostalgia for it.
Yeah, I don't hate it. But
there's a lot of 80s nostalgia shows. The Wonder Years, for example, with Fred Savage.
Wonder Years is really good.
That I don't have nostalgia for, that I just love because they're great shows. Here's my hot take for the night. Wonder Years is 100 times the show that Boy Meets World is. And Fred Savage is much better than his brother.
Damn.
I do not like Boy Meets World, but I love the Wonder.
Well, now that we've discussed sitcoms, Jameis, where can they find you?
Like I said earlier, you can find me at the Jameis. Let's change this up this time. That is J as in Jameis, A as in Amos.
Amos. What the fuck's an Amos?
Do you want the dirty answer?
Amadeus. M
as in Mus. E as in hello there, mate. U as in us. S as in shithead, like my cat's a shithead. I hope my cat's doing well. At the Jameis on the Twitter.
I hope he's doing well.
Since nobody's promoted it because they don't like money. Be sure to support me with the at We Talk Indies mug.
What are you talking about? They can literally go to the link tree in my bio.
Yes, but you haven't mentioned the link tree.
Oh, yeah. New link tree.
And you never mention what's in the link tree. So I have to do product placement every time I want to take a sip of tea. I'm holding the mic in my right hand. And
You're
I'm
the one who gets paid for that merchandise. I pay you for that merchandise.
Of course, because I'm the money maker. It's the hair. So, but I'm left-handed. I'm holding the microphone in my right hand. I can't even hold the handle when I drink if I want to get the product placement, because if I do, it's just like. But no, here you see Duffy's bleeding heart. Maybe the silhouette will stop bleeding if we have enough money to get hip surgery. So be sure to fund that and buy our merchandise.
Yeah, we got some new merchandise coming up, so there will be ads for it. We will be having ads for it soon.
It's just locks of my hair. Enjoy your new wig.
It's just a silhouette of your hair. We talk Indies.
I think it's $1 million idea. I think my hair goes well with this $10 smile.
I have to do product placement. I was like, time out. I paid you. We could be doing better though. Product placement.
Maybe if you advertised it.
I will. Okay. I just came back. Oh my God.
By the way, we haven't done any advertisements for the show. Do you want to advertise certain indie wrestling products?
Yes. By the way,
we usually advertise.
Yes, we do. We have Slowpoke. We have them, the IWC brand.
You've been a slowpoke tonight with these advertisements.
It's been a while. It's been a long day since I've done the show. But the opening.
A long day since you've done the show?
A long day since I've done it. It's been a long day and I've done the show.
My brain is fried. I can't even think straight.
I can't even think of it. I'm all kinds of like fucked up. Anyways.
Good to hear about my week.
It's been a while since we've done the show. So once again, apologies. But their information is actually in the beginning of our show when the show loads.
Oh yeah.
So and
ours is not.
So click the link. T and I will have it there. And yeah, support them. They have great. They have all the needs for your IWC merchandise,
Continue. I'm sorry.
And also, they are at events like Pro Wrestling Revolver in the meet and greet area, and also where you buy your Revolver merchandise. Continue.
So, you can also support the TNI network because, and I'm going to give you the number one reason why you should. If you like my hair, and that's the reason you watch this podcast, and you want to see the exact opposite, J-Mode has the shiniest skull in pro wrestling, and that alone is a sight to behold, a beautiful sight. Shout out to our boy, J-Mode.
Trent also has long hair too. You're not the only.
Yes, but I said the opposite because I don't want to put Trent over. Oh, I probably shouldn't say that on Trent's network.
He's gonna call me.
Okay, I'm gonna go full Paul Heyman. Go full Paul Heyman. Hey, network, I dare you to throw me off the air. Oh no, that was TNN, not TNI.
Yeah, wrong one.
Wrong acronym.
Anyways, we're out. Follow us at We Talk Indies. Yes, we will have updated merchandise and we will be advertising it. It will be in the beginning of every video. Same thing with of course, your favorite IWC independent wrestling merchandise brand on your favorite network, Total Nonstop Impact, which you can find on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and of course here on YouTube. And follow me at ARoseCPE. That's Charlie Papa Echo. And have a good night. Goodbye. And we will see you later. Thanks for tuning in.
Goodbye. Good night.